Hi everyone, I'm volcanologist Dr. Janine Krippner and this is my guest.
Hi, I'm Helen Robinson and I work in geothermal energy.
Thank you so much for joining me, and I understand there are other types of geothermal activity that aren't volcanoes. Can you quickly list those off for us just to start?
Yeah, so I mean, the majority of people understand geothermal from volcanic regions such as Iceland and New Zealand. But with the advancements in our geological understanding of the underground, the subsurface, and developments in engineering over the past sort of 20, 30 years, we can now abstract the heat under the ground, so geothermal energy, generate power in all sorts of environments. And these include sedimentary basins, areas where we've got granite, even sort of really shallow areas such as mines and mine wastewater.
Wow, thank you. And how do we get geothermal activity from volcanic systems? Can you just take us over what actually happens below the surface to see this manifesting?
So in really simple terms, we have a magma body that is much closer to the surface, and obviously the surface expression is your volcanic cone. But because that magma is really close to the surface, when groundwater and surface water flows underground, it comes into contact with the rocks that have been heated by that shallow magma. And that creates a boiling effect underground. So even when water is underground and it's boiling, it can sometimes be sort of 300 degrees Celsius and it remains as a liquid. But because it has nowhere to escape to, it builds up lots and lots of pressure as well. And then we tap into that body of water that's super hot, superheated. You might hear the phrase supercritical. And that's a rapid escape for it to rise to the surface. And as it's rising to the surface, it adjusts to the atmospheric pressure of the area, and it changes to steam. So water goes from its liquid phase, what we would say liquid phase, to vapor phase. And that process is called a flash. And there is a huge amount of energy within that process that they basically harness and use to power turbines and generate electricity.
Wow, thank you. So when we have an increase or a change in geothermal activity, that is not necessarily linked to a change in magmatic activity, right?
No, absolutely not. I suppose Yellowstone and the activity that we've seen, for example, at Steamboat Geyser in sort of the recent 12 to 18 months or so, is a really good example of sort of natural geothermal, if you like, rather than what I do, which is more sort of man-made and induced, if you like, to some degree. And the magmatic system beneath Yellowstone hasn't changed a great deal at all. And what actually they believe has been happening at Steamboat is there was a huge amount of snow in the area. And that snow melt with the changes in the season has provided more water in the underground, and we've still had that same process of water coming into contact with hot rocks, it boiling and building up in pressure. And in Yellowstone, there's plenty of faults and fracture networks for it to escape naturally once it's built up this pressure. And that's been occurring more frequently because there's more water being recharged to the system and heating up. So it's been escaping more, and our expression of that is more active geysers.
Thank you so much for going through that. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me for this volcano moment.
Thank you for having me.